We're grateful for who God is. That list of names given, holy and mighty and all of that, that's just the beginning of things. When Jesus was jousting with the Pharisees, Jesus made it clear to them that when you start talking about me, you're talking about something that surpasses Abraham. Because before Abraham was, he said, my name is I am. In other words, when you open up the book to look at all of the good things that a person can possibly be, mighty and triumphant and awesome and holy, he says that that's just the beginning of it. He had to close the book when trying to describe himself and just said, I am. Start your roll of names of all the things I am. That's just the beginning. There is no single word that encompasses all that God is. That's why when you are on his side, when you make a commitment to him, you can't possibly lose. Because he just am. Not was, that would signify that at some point he started being that, and at some point he might stop being that. He says, go back to the beginning of time, and the page before that, I still am. Go off into the future, and I am. I just always am. I'm not confined to any space of time. I'm not just one picture. I'm the whole movie. I go back before the movie starts. I just am. That's why in John, where he says, in the beginning was the Word, it really isn't in the beginning. There's no definite article the there in the manuscripts. It simply is in beginning was the Word. And the reason for that is if you had in the beginning, it would signify at a specific point in time, the beginning, the Word was. But when you take out the definite article the, it just says in beginning before.
All right, so the first question is, who is Dwayne Gott?
Who is Dwayne Gott? Dwayne Gott is a father, a man of God, a grandfather, deacon, musician, overall, just a servant of the Lord.
All right, good. What is Dwayne Gott's purpose? What is his purpose?
Dwayne Gott's purpose is to preach the gospel, to teach the gospel to those that are seeking and those that are lost. That's I believe that's why God created me after learning that. That's my purpose, to just spread the good news of Jesus Christ.
Where did Dwayne Gott see himself in 5 years?
In 5 years? Wow, I would love to be performing on stage, somewhere teaching, speaking, just empowering our people as a whole, and also, continuing to spread the gospel in 5 years from now. And then also, relaxing with my feet up.
Family. Tell us in your own words, what's family?
Family, to me, is togetherness and praying together, doing a lot of things together as a whole, whether it's just you and your spouse, you and your children, also sitting down and speaking wisdom into the children, and taking them on different trips so they can see different things and explore and just open up their minds to greater things than just the circumference of their environment where they live.
When growing up, did Dwayne Gott ever see himself with daughters and grandkids at the age of, say, as a teen? When did that come to your mind? When did that cross your mind, have your own family?
Well, it came, having my own family came to my mind at a young age. somewhere around 17 years old, as a teenager, I was doing some praying and believing God that He would send me someone special for myself that I could settle down with and marry and call the wife. I also believed that we would have children, at least two. But right now we just have one beautiful daughter and two grandsons and a wonderful son-in-law. But growing up, it seemed like I always been like pretty much ahead of my time. So yeah, I had a vision for a family, and I have a wonderful family right now. I thank God for them. So that's where I see. That's the vision I seen as growing up, as an early age, having a family.
What does fatherhood mean to Dwayne Gott?
What does fatherhood mean to Dwayne Gott? Fatherhood to me is being able to support your family, staying with your family, being an example for your family, speaking into your family, loving on your family, understanding your family, being there for them, and overall, just being kind and mindful and understanding and being patient and willing to listen.
What comes along with fatherhood? What's some of the talking points for fatherhood to you? Like if somebody said you had to be a father, what would you tell them? What comes along with it?
If someone asked me, what does it take to be a father? I would say responsibility. We have a responsibility as a father to not only provide, but to be there for support, to be there to guide, to be there to speak wisdom, to be there to teach, to love on them, to be an example and a role model that a family is an entity that should always stay together and continue to be fruitful. So it's important for the father to be there, especially if there's sons that he has, because the son eventually will be a father, and he has to teach him and guide him on how to be responsible, how to be a provider, how to love on your family, how to be understanding, and just be supportive. So it's important. Yeah, fatherhood is very important.
So who was the role models for you growing up?
Oh, role models for me. Oh, my dad. Wow. My dad, this man would be the first one up and the last one in. Every day. Hardworking man. And he was always there. And when my mother asked him for something, it was like, okay, he like spoiled her rotten. My mother didn't have a license, so he would drive her wherever she needed to go and whenever she wanted to go. And I watched him, and it kind of stuck with me that he was always there, and he spoke wisdom periodically. So, watching my dad, that was definitely a great influence for me.
Yeah. How about the community? Were there a lot of fathers in your community?
Wow. No, a lot of my friends didn't really have their dad around. Now that you mentioned it, now that I'm thinking about it, for the most part, they were single parents. They may have been maybe myself and one other out of like 15 of us growing up in the streets of Brooklyn, out in Brownsville. And I didn't think about that until the question was just asked about my childhood life and friends growing up and their parents being around. So when they did see my dad, it was like this form of respect that instantly clicked with them. We always respect our friends' parents, and they always respect mine. So yeah, I'm sure that made a serious impact on them as well. Seeing my dad around and hearing my dad speak, different things. And, he used to crack us up, but he knew what he was talking about. Yeah.
What was important for Dwayne Gott growing up as a kid? What was important growing up as a kid?
What was important growing up as a kid, of course, is school and getting your education. But we found music to be an out for us because it kept us off the streets and it inspired us. So music was very important to myself and a few of my friends, because at a young age we learned our instruments like almost overnight, and we were able to perform and play as if we were playing for years at a young age. It definitely was a gift. So education and also being involved in music was very important. That was two elements that were very important keys.
Okay, this is going to be the last part of this question. We're going to wrap this part together. And if you had to go back in time, and talk to the 18-year-old Dwayne Gott, what would you say to that 18-year-old?
If I had to go back in time and talk to my 18-year-old Dwayne Gott, it wouldn't be to change much. Perhaps, I'm sure we'd probably be going to college and furthering my education, just to be in a position now to kind of like relate and function on a different level with those that have PhDs and masters, just to be able to have, the credentials to say I'm on that level as well. But, God has, brought me a mighty long ways, and there's a lot of gifts inside of me. So that I would say that to the 18-year-old. And I also would speak to a lot of my friends, that were growing up back then, to kind of like keep them on the straight and narrow, because a lot of them didn't make it today. And it's sad because, it had a lot to do with the way we grew up and the guidance that we had. But I thank God again for having a father and a mother in my home. Yeah, that's what I would tell that 18-year-old. The importance of a black man as a role model. That's very important, especially to us as a race of people, because being a role model, especially a positive role model, there's always something that you can give back to the community, whether it's your education, whether it's some knowledge of building and investing in stock, investing in property, being able to speak to the youth and give them some type of guidance on direction, on where they see themselves in 5 years from now, what would they like to be, what would they like to do. So it's very important to be a role model and to be seen as a role model, so that others can look up to you and say, wow, he accomplished this, he was able to do that, and he's teaching us how to do it. So it kind of like gives them hope and direction, as opposed to not just so much hanging in the streets and following the wrong crowd, because it's easy to follow the wrong crowd because it appears to be glamorous. It appears to be easy, especially if it's on the corner selling drugs and you have fancy cars and the gangs, and you have a family that they say love each other. So to be a positive role model, you can steer them in the right direction away from that. Yeah, so it's very important to be a role model, especially us as black men.
Good. Who were your role models growing up? Besides not just your dad, but just was there a community guy?
Okay, other than my dad being my role model, we would look to the athletes in my neighborhood, because there was a young man by the name of Joel, I think that was his last name, and he came into some money, and he put together a basketball team with some college players, and he would rent buses and he would take us out of the projects to see the games. And we would go to the Nassau Coliseum, we would go to St. John's University, and we would watch the athletes, and then they would come around the neighborhood and they would talk with us, and they would play around with us and play a little bit of basketball with us. So the athletes were a pretty good role model for us growing up. There wasn't too many musicians that we knew of that came around. There was one that I believe he was with the Crown Heights Affair. I believe he played saxophone with them. He kind of like took us under his wing. Once he found out we got into music, he heard that we played, and he said, "Hey, come up to my apartment and let's talk, and I would like to show you guys some things." And yeah, he was really an influence on us as well.
Okay. The 40-year-old Dwayne Gott, as we know today, who's his role model?
My role model today, wow, is so many. I would want to go with my bishop, Bishop Hezekiah Walker, Bishop T.D. Jakes, also I believe it's Joe Olstein. He's also a great role model. John P. Key. And there's so many right now that you just kind of like toss up a hat and just pick one. Kirk Franklin is a great role model musically, and we got a chance to meet him, and he's also a great man of wisdom as well. So there's quite a few, and I thank God for them being a great example.
Mentoring. Do you believe in mentorship?
Yes, mentorship. I'm for that 100%, and it's giving back. So anytime you can give back to your community is a great thing. I believe that we should never hold our knowledge and wisdom inside and not share it back with the community. It's very important to be a mentor or a mentor, as far as just giving back and guiding someone and also helping them along the way. So mentorship is very important, and I'm all for it.
Amen. So if you had to make one phone call,
if I had to make one phone call,
who'd you call?
I would call my wife if I had to make one phone call.
So would you say your wife is also like a mentor or a role model?
Yes, my wife is definitely has a lot of wisdom, and she's a wise woman. We do marriage counseling, and that's like her passion. She gives back to the young ladies at church. They some of them call her Ma, some of them call her Kumar, and they all gather around her, just to either she's going to fuss them out or she's going to put them on the right and narrow, and they love her for it because some of them are away from home, and they're not around their parents as often as they are around my wife, so they kind of look at her as a mother, and they love her because she speaks the truth, and the young ladies need that. They need someone that's going to tell them right from wrong and put them on that straight and narrow, and they love her for that.
Amen. All right. Okay, we're gonna finish up on mentoring and role models. So if you had to give a young man advice that was about to, I guess, make that wrong turn, what would you say to him right now?
Well, I would like to stop him in his tracks and say, "Hey, young man, right now you appear to be heading down that path of destruction, and there's another road that I'm sure you would admire, I'm sure you would appreciate if you had the opportunity and you were aware that the road exists, because for the most part we find negativity because it's easy to be led in the wrong direction and kind of harder to be led in the right, because the devil always want to steer you in the wrong direction and make it easy. And positive always seem like it's a struggle, like it's always a fight, to do positive things. So I would definitely give him some advice and speak into his life and say, "Hey man, there's greater for you, and you can do greater. You just have to have high expectations. You just have to focus on the positive and not so much the negative. And then you have to comply yourself. You have to be consistent, and you have to be willing, and you just have to have hope and take a chance. and continue down the path of doing the right thing, which is easier than doing the wrong thing. From my political point of view, I believe that politicians should keep to their word. I noticed that a lot of times they say they're going to do this, and once you vote for them and they're in office, then it seems like that never gets done. And then those that we do vote into office, we have to hold accountable. I believe that it's not just voting someone into office. I believe we have to also go to these meetings, take our groups and say, hey, this is what we would like for you to hold up, because you said you was going to do this, and we're not seeing it done. A lot of times we just vote them into office and then we just forget about it. Even with the flag and taking a knee, I don't see anything wrong with taking a knee. You're still doing something whether you're standing or taking a knee. To me, it really doesn't make much of a difference. But if you have what you call a reason why you're doing this, I think people should focus more on the reason why it's being done as opposed to the flag. And they kind of like getting off track and making it about the flag, but it's not really about the flag. Guns, they should have more control over that, because you can just, in some states, just have a driver's license and purchase a weapon. So it should be restrictions on that. It shouldn't be just that easy. And black on black crime, of course, it's not as bad as they say it is, because they want to blow it up and make it seem like we're killing each other every day, which there is a lot of black on black crime, but I don't believe that it's going to continue, because us as a people, we will rise to a level where we will come together and kind of like iron out our differences as a people, and to be able to do great things as a race. I believe that the politics have a great influence in our communities and in our neighborhoods. So once we realize that we're fighting a greater power, I believe we're going to come together and make a great difference in our communities as a race. Yes.
Amen. All right, and I guess you can tie the music part into too, how you see music and music ministries bringing our people back together the way it used to be. Do you have any ideas on that? How you like to talk about that?
How do I see the music industry and where it started and where it's going? The music industry has come a long ways, and I love the idea of the gospel hip hop and the gospel rap, because the younger generation is looking for an avenue and out to promote and perform their art, which is speaking and rapping for Christ and inspiring others. It's not easy for them, because some churches don't accept it and some Christians don't accept it. But I believe that as long as you speaking the word of God and you keep it Christ-centered in your music and in your lyrics, the message is still being heard. That's very important. And contemporary music will always be around. That will never leave. And when it comes down to just changing a few chords here and there, just kind of like giving it a different vibe to kind of like put your own self into it and your own little creativity, it takes it to another level, which to me is also acceptable. Maybe the older generation is like, oh, that's too jazzy, or that's too bassy, or it's too many drums in there. But if you can just grab one person and get them to listen, and their lives are changed, and they accept Christ as their Lord and Savior, and then, your living is not in vain. And I believe that's what it's about. And all music was created to glorify God anyway. Once we come together and realize that that's not about us, it's about souls, then we'll be a better people. We'll be a better Christian.
All right, let's wrap it up. So this piece will be, the last final question is basically who I am, Dwayne Gott, and you're the next man up. You are the next man up, okay? All right, so you go ahead and say how you like to say that.
Okay. Who am I as Dwayne Gott? A man of God, a father, and a deacon. We do marriage counseling. I'm a grandfather, musician. Right now, I'm working on my CD, and there's a couple of tunes that God has given me that's very interesting. Get my praise on, help me to pray, call on God. You reap what you sow. So I'm looking to speak into someone's life, because I believe that that's my mission, to touch someone that maybe other preachers or other musicians and other artists may not be able to reach. I believe that someone will hear my music and their lives will be changed. So that's my life. That's where I am right now. And once again, I'm Dwayne Gott, and I'm the next man up.
Good. Awesome.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I got another battery.
Hope I did well.
You did well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just got to admit how good you be. Just the way you're holding it down for me. And there is no other love out there for me. You just keep bringing out the best in me. Oh, I gotta tell somebody. Just how good you've been to me. Despite all my issues and all of my problems. Cause when I need you, you do the impossible. You always be there with me, no matter where I go. Cause you're a good God. That's all I'm trying to say. You're a good she keep on making a way for me. You're a good God. Good God, good God. You open doors and keep making ways for me. I once was blind, but because of you, I see. Over and over, you supply my needs. You pick me up out of the Mari clay, set me up on the ride to stay. See, I'm trying to tell somebody. Despite of my issues and all of my problems, when I need you, you be there all the time. It's just a privilege just to say you're a friend of mine. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Can't find nobody no better nowhere. You never left me alone, you stay right there. That's how I know you care. You stay being good to me, even when I'm acting shady, yeah. By you understanding me, it feels so good, it's crazy, I just wish I had one witness that knows what I'm talking about. He's a good God, good God. And there's nobody like him. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. I don't know nobody. Good God. Yeah. I serve a mighty good God. Yeah. I serve a mighty good God. Yeah. I serve a mighty good God. Yeah, a good God. yeah. I just got to admit how good you be. Just the way you're holding it down for me. And there is no other love out there for me. You just keep bringing out the best in me. Oh, I gotta tell somebody. Just how you been to me. Despite all my issues and all of my problems. Cause when I need you, you do the impossible. You always be there with me. I got this now.
Baby boy on the track, baby boy on the track, baby boy
Yeah.
on the track.
Yeah. Spiritual warfare, baby. There's a war out here. You fight with the wrong utensils. Yeah. It's all in your mind, baby.
Can you imagine having no bragging about toe tagging, fofo madness, close cags, and we need no more bastards. From Alaska to Nazareth, the madness has to stop. And it's hazardous, no matter about the cash you got. Being strangled by the Star-Spangled Banner, that's why I take a knee. The Kaepernick rolled the parts that I take a seat. She had to rest her feet, so let her rest in peace. Accept defeat, America, please let us free. Y'all think I'm acting wrong, let the facts be known. Gritting my teeth, listen to Michael Jackson's song.
I don't really care about us.
Satisfaction's gone, click clack to the dome. Can't relax at home. In a city where the scratches for business, something is itchy. Try to get it, gotta go and feel the feeling. The penitentiary, seriously, we tired of the misery. We're part of the history. Remember me that the people need us to be relieved and be released. Yeah. Tired of shit. Even religious, they rolling in clicks. Purple rain got me feeling like Prince. World the same, got me feeling intense. I was in the game, now sit on the bench. Shoe in the shade, they pray for the kids. Coach Scott, she stay in the mix. Pray for the game, who bang for the chips. Yes, it's only get a glimpse. Ain't it a trip? We hating each other for nothing. Police hating my color for nothing. Destructive, the justice, the system corrupting. Hard to follow instructions. Government not up for discussion. Drilling and rushing. Cops killing in public, not getting punished yet. It's all wrong. In your mind, it's all gone. Trying to take us away like Calgon. How long you expect us to be calm like peons? Want the free like freons, eons. Never that. Ain't selling out for the cheese like Pepper Jack. Put me in a pulpit with Pastor Mason Bethel at. Infesting rats. Who you reject the trap? You don't respect the fact the system has held us back. whisper of a snake with one bite trying to slave us. We're separated from God and I in need of a savior. I lay down my life, how can I ever repay it? I'm lifting up my hands, I'm crying out upon my knees. I wanna know you more, Lord, please, would you speak to me? I don't wanna live with pride, I don't wanna live a lie. I don't wanna live another night without you by my side. I wanna know you more, Lord. Yeah, yeah. I surrender to you. I surrender to you. I surrender to you. Let your mercy rain on me, oh Lord, oh Lord. Break these chains, set me free. I wanna know, I wanna know, I wanna know, I wanna know you're my king. Let your spirit follow me. I surrender to you. Time after time again, there I heard again. Ignite this holy fire deep down within. Like that Samaritan woman, I don't wanna thirst again. Let your living water flow like rivers deep within my soul. I'm holding my hands out, would you carry me? When I step off this boat, I don't want no fear in me. Yeah, and crush me down, yeah, and crush me more. Yeah, and build me up, yeah, and make me yours. I wanna know you more, Lord. Yeah, yeah. I surrender to you. I surrender to you. I surrender to you. Let your mercy rain on me, oh Lord, oh Lord. Break these chains, set me free. I wanna know, I wanna know, I wanna know, I wanna know you're my king. Let your spirit follow me. I surrender to you. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Hey, yeah. It's a praise party. We're gonna praise him all night long. It's a praise party. We don't know when we're going home. It's a praise party. We're gonna praise him all night long. It's a praise party. We don't know when we're going home.
Ain't got no worries, ain't got no stress. Opened my eyes and I knew I was blessed. Been a long week, whole lot of gloom. I need to dance, don't give me some room. Don't need nobody to wait up for me. I'm gonna dance till I get free. Yeah. Look at the devil, he's getting all excited. Somebody tell him he's not invited.
Praise party.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna
Praise him all night long.
yeah, 'cause it's a praise party. We don't know,
When we're going home.
yeah,
It's a
praise
party.
It's a praise party.
Praise him all night long.
It might be after midnight, I don't know.
Praise party.
Yeah, we don't know.
When we're going home.
I checked your name and you're on the list. Blessings are coming, the show won't miss. There are some things that we need to fix. Somebody homeless, somebody been sick. Lay down your purse, take off your shoes. God's been good, gotta spread the news. I see the devil, he's getting all excited. I thought I told him he's not invited. This is only for God's people.
Praise him
home late tonight till I get free. Listen, yeah, cause it's a praise party. Come on, let's praise him all night long. Everything that happened, come on and praise his name. Yeah, it's a praise party. You ought to lift your hands right there. Praise him all night long. Somebody clap your hands. Stomp your feet. We don't know where we're going home. Everything that has breath, come on and praise his name. Get up out of your seat. Move to your left. Move to your right. Come on and praise his name. Sing a song. Do your dance.
Waking up to the light of a brand new day. Thank you, Lord, what I say when I kneel and pray. So fresh, so clean, now I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm on my way. Come on. Gripping grain as I'm flipping through the neighborhood. Car clean, music loud, and I'm feeling good. God's son on the plate, so it's understood. It's understood. People pointing at the light like they wanna fight. Yeah, they mad and they say I ain't living right. Come on, y'all, I'm just out there trying to be the light. Trying to be the light. My walk, my talk, my swag. Everything you say make me bad. That's what he gon' use right now today. Yeah, here we go. You might not like how I walk, might can't stand how I talk. I might not be what you thought, but that's okay. I know just what to say when I kneel and I pray. Come on, here we go. He'll make a way for me today. Waking up, power up, man, let's get it in. Pray for the blessed life now I'm living in. Y'all don't know about the things that I'm up against. Yeah, here we go. On this highway of life, yeah, I'm switching lanes. Moving fast, too fast to remain the same. Watch the road, cause it's slick from the oil and rain. Fake friends really hating at their enemies. All mad cause I'm trying to change their enemy. I'm just walking in the life that he gave to me. My walk, my talk, my swag. Everything you say make me bad. That's what he gon' use right now today. Yeah, here we go. You might not like how I walk, might can't stand how I talk. I might not be what you thought, but that's okay. I know just what to say when I kneel and I pray. He said he'll make a way for me today. Here we go, here we go. Might not like how I walk, might can't stand how I talk. I might not be what you thought, but that's okay. I know just what to say when I kneel and I pray. Here we go. He said he'll make a way for me today. Hey.
Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is the reason why we live, we breathe, we move, we have our being. Everything that we are is only because of everything that he's done, everything that he is, and everything that he's yet doing.
Hello, I am Minister John E. Ross.
come night, nor the years draw nigh. Thou should have no pleasure in them. Jesus is calling while you're young. He's soon to come. It's never too late. Won't you give him your life today? Do you remember?
Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth.
While the evil days come night, nor the years draw nigh, and thou shalt have no pleasure in them. Jesus is calling while you're young. He is soon to come. It's never too late. What you giving in life today? Won't you remember?
Thy Creator in the days of thy youth. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth.
Christ on your side, you can make it. 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 Yeah.
With Christ on your side, you can make it. For with Christ on your side, you can make it. For with Christ on your side, you can make it.
Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. Hear him calling you. Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. Hear him calling you. Jesus is calling. Say he's calling. Jesus is calling. Hear him calling you. Jesus is calling.
He's calling.
Jesus is calling. Hear him calling you.
Remember he called from day one. Remember them times you had the stacks and the guns. Remember them times where everything went wrong and you blamed everyone else with that same old song. It got old. You gotta call your maker. Don't let God become paper. Nobody's beyond redemption, man. Jesus can save you. And truth be told, he's a righteous savior. Live it, homie. You got a calling on your life. You heard me right. He chose you. You don't think he knows what's going on? He know you. Just like you, I was born from sin. Now I'm born again. And if you look within, you'll find purpose again. Nobody's meaningless, man. Cause God got a plan. Look, open your heart. If you down and out, God is all you got. He'll lift you up. So remember that Creator.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. Trials will come, but they will go. Remember, joy will come in the morning. The clouds will pass in the morning. The sun will shine at the dawning of the day. Just hold on. Speak the word, keep the faith. Just hold on. At the dawning of the day, just hold on. Speak the word, keep the faith. Just hold on. Deliverance will come in the morning. In the morning. In the morning, alright. In the morning, I know it's hurting right now. In the morning, joy will the sun will shine at the dawning of the day. Just speak the word, keep the faith. Just hold on, joy will come in the morning. In the La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. This vibe here got me out of control. Watch me dance just a little bit. Watch me dance just a little bit. Watch me dance just a little bit. La la la, la la la, la la la.
I know I messed up, but I tried. I really need you to get by. Had to swallow my pride. Now your boy is on fire. Back then didn't want me. Now I'm hot all on me. Spirit of God all on me. Ain't got time to be phony. Lift him up just a little bit. MG with another hit. John B all over it. Word of God is my origin.
This vibe here got me out of control. Watch me dance just a little bit. Watch me dance just a little bit. Watch me dance just a little bit. La la la, la la la, la la la. Who said the church can't swag it out? Watch your boy spit just a little bit. Preacher come down from the pulpit. This one got God all over it. This song got me pure trembling. Yes, I'm filled with love and adrenaline. Even the angels are shivering. My flow cold, but Christ moving in. Tic-tac-toe, I'm allowing him. X with I-O, and I'm back again. I just reload, let the record spin. I just reload, let the record spin. This vibe here got me out of control. Watch me dance just a little bit. Watch me dance just a little bit. Watch me dance just a little bit. La la la, la la la, la la la. This vibe here got me out of control. Watch me dance just a little bit. Watch me dance just a little bit. Watch me dance just a little bit. La la la, la la la, la la la. I think I need a little calibration. I'ma let Jesus take control. I think I need a little
was seeking perfection. I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me. I'm saved for life. Who says that a Christian can't turn up? All the glory, all the praise to Jesus. I think I need a little calibration. $100 pockets and billionaire relation. When I say praise, you say praise him. Praise, praise him, praise, praise him. When I say praise.
We're grateful for who God is. That list of names given, holy and mighty and all of that, that's just the beginning of things. When Jesus was jousting with the Pharisees, Jesus made it clear to them that when you start talking about me, you're talking about something that surpasses Abraham. Because before Abraham was, he said, my name is I am. In other words, when you open up the book to look at all of the good things that a person can possibly be mighty.